This video, we're going to go into an X Space live Saturday. It's the beginning of May. We're going to talk all about the recap on the Las Vegas BTC convention, the impact of the Killing Satoshi Bitcoin effect, and the takeaways from the event, and overall strategy going forward about like how to how to fix this brand and this marketing that we've got ourselves in what would be known as Bitcoin SV, because it's had a slightly damaged brand. The protocol is amazing. The freaking technology is there. It's been delisted. So we've got to fix that going forward. And how do we do that? Well, we do that by it's a Hollywood blockbuster film, man. It's a giant enterprise scale, massive household name film. Never been done before. The Titan blockchain with none other than Satoshi himself, the Dr. Craigwright, and of course the Casey Affleck playing him, and Doug Liman directing it. Just an all-star cast. But there are some challenges that are going to be faced, and so talk about kind of the strategy that I see going forward. And I'm going to break this down as you're seeing it on YouTube in 2 or 3 parts. So I'll cut it out, and then the video after that, or a few down, will be trailed by the other part of this video. You can watch the full thing, and I'll try to card them together the best I can. All right, so stay to the end. Here we go. We're going inside, and I'll see you at the top. Bitcoin killing Satoshi, capturing the wave when Bitcoin killing Satoshi drops. Get back from the Las Vegas conference right now. We're going to go into an X Space. We're going to talk about strategy and what's to come. Kind of a big deal, man. I mean, I don't know of any other movie that's mainstream Hollywood. Mainstream Hollywood? Okay. It could be coming up real soon. Like somebody wants to join in. We'll go in and talk with them in a second. So, all right. Good morning, everybody. What's up? It's a great day. This is Gavin Mehl. We got the Killing Satoshi. I want today we do a debrief on what happened here in the Las Vegas convention. And I wanted to talk about capturing the wave when Bitcoin killing Satoshi drops, and how really to capitalize on this. I had a call yesterday with someone, and we talked about this, and they were already kind of writing this off. I'm like, wait a second, writing this off as a loss? What do you mean? Like, as far as I know, Calvin's already put like 15 million into it. And a lot of other people have already put a lot of money into it, 70 million. Okay, so writing it off. No. This is huge. And it doesn't mean it's a guarantee. We have to like unite and come together and have some sort of harmony to make sure that it all fits together. There's a lot of risk involved. For one, this movie is so disruptive in the way of artificial intelligence. There has never been a film, it's the first of its kind, that is going to be out in Hollywood. It's using AI and replacing like the whole studio full of jobs. So all these regular people that are doing props and lighting and backgrounds and sets and on these big giant Dark Knight, Batman Return type films, they're not going to be working on this film. Instead, it was done in a shoebox in London. And all the actors are real. They're all happening. They're coming forward, but it's not going to be a regular film. It's going to be the first of its kind like this. So there's going to be a lot of pushback. And one of the takeaways that I got from this conference was my favorite troll in the world, Sloppy Jack Dorsey, who I do have a lot of bias and animosity to. So I'll admit that up front. So take it from a grain of salt from my position, because I'm completely biased against him. But he wouldn't come to the conference, so instead he went on a remote viewing or remote video conference at the day 2 or day 3 it was, and he had a movie that he was financing a movie, and the movie was about Edward Snowden, and it was about Julian Assange, and it was politically based, but apparently I actually didn't pick up on this because I was so blinded by my own bias of Jack Dorsey, and I was booing in the crowd, and I think Casey was saying that she was going to say craigwright is Satoshi, but it was rather fun. So I wasn't picking up on anything about what he was saying or what it was about, but afterwards I talked to a friend, and she says that it was actually about how they won the Cannes Film Festival. And the Cannes Film Festival is the same festival that Killing Satoshi is going to this month. Now, they won the thing, and then they couldn't get any distribution. It was too political. They won, so France liked it, best film of the whole festival, but nobody wanted to distribute it to the majors because it was too political. And so now he's selling it on an internet site and promoting it through his network for, on the internet. Now that is not something that we can have happen, because we want this to be in every single film studio. I'm not going to write this off as a loss and say, "Oh no, it's not going to happen." No, forget that. It's happening, and we're gonna help to encourage it to happen, getting it to every single theater and every single Netflix documentary, every Netflix and Amazon, and putting it out there. And then our job is to we have to really kind of think about, if you were searching for that movie on ChatGPT or Google or X, what is going to come up? What's gonna come up? What are you gonna search for? This is where, like, there's no answer to this, and there's no like, oh, I'm gonna cry about it and I'm not gonna do anything. No, this is where, like, we have to unite and think, well, if let's say 1 million, 2 million, 3 million, 100 million people are gonna search for this, let's just say, in a year or less. I mean, then what are they gonna search for? What are the keywords gonna be, and what are they gonna see? I mean, these are super important, because if that can be strategically thought through, then a massive amount of traffic is going to be going to that, and people are going to be buying. Because I think one of the takeaways from the conference was all the smart money, like all the Hollywood money, they don't need to. And I had a great show with Ashton Addison. He's a guy called Crypto Coin Show on X and on YouTube, and it was funny because I'm walking through the hotel lobby or the hotel conference area, and he stops me and he recognized me from from some old viral YouTube videos that I had. And him and his dad were following me from 10 years ago. And he had this common relationship with his dad where, when he was younger, so they worked kind of like on health stuff that I talked about before, liver flush and intermittent fasting. And so he stops me, and he had this bond, and he texts his dad. He got a picture, sent it to his dad, and they were really, bonded on that. But then we do a show afterwards, and he tells me that most, like, we talk about how most smart, like, Hollywood people, they're already buying in. And now he's more into the investment side and the trading side, which I'm not. So I'm not as familiar with the trading and investing and all that. So he's more talking about the investing and the coin price. And he's saying, the smart money, the people in Hollywood, they're already placing their bets. They're not going to talk about this. They're going to keep it all under wraps until they're all bought in and they have their positions. And then he published an article on Crypto Coin Show, which was from the show that I did with him, that talked all about how is Bitcoin Killing Satoshi, the catalyst for BSV. And then he did a full price, analysis on where it was and where it's going and how it's super bullish. And in his expertise on charts, which he's an expert in, he says, in his opinion, that it's like it doesn't move with the market. So when the market goes down, it doesn't move. So I mean, he felt really confident about that and very bullish and excited about it in the long term, in the long term play. So I thought that was interesting that all these things coming about. So we got Casey, don't touch anything, but it dropped me down. Oh, Casey, you want me to pull you back up? Thank you. I just saw that. Casey, I'm going to add you back up. Okay. What's up? All right. So yeah, before I open up, let me just cover a few things. This Killing Satoshi. So the Las Vegas convention, let me just kind of recap on what happened. So we get down there. I get down there the first day, and it was 3, gosh, was it 4 days? I don't know, it was 4 days or 3. I mean, I could go through each day. It was pretty wild. I mean, some of the takeaways though was that I had another influencer, Sam Price, that Casey and I had met, and I did a show with him kind of on the fly. He's really super just bullish guy. I had another guy who's I would say not really an investor, but he's like got a network of people that really want to buy into projects. And one of the takeaways is that I have this concept that I've been talking about for a while, which is, look, we've got to capitalize not on the trading, necessarily the trading price, but on the businesses. Because a lot of people, they don't want to just buy coins. They want to be a part of businesses like startups, especially like well-off investors. They want to be a part of the next big startup. I know Bose had some great idea that he was working on with a great startup in that video, like a movie space, building on chain. I mean, these are the types of startups that people that are investing that want to be a part of. They want to see the next big trend. So we kind of aligned with a guy like that. And I'm going to have a group of people where we kind of look at projects like that. It's really important that we can come together and look at it. We don't want to just have one big giant whale investor, first mover advantage like a Calvin Ayre over the space. I mean, that's great to have him. That is set the kind of the framework. I mean, he literally is the one that saved the Bitcoin protocol. I mean, he took all the risk. He financed all these startups. He backed all these people, dude. So I mean, we owe eternal gratitude to him. And ultimately, this movie is going to be framed around his story. I mean, it's largely around him and his story. So it's but we don't want to just rely on him. We got to have all these other people coming into this industry and capitalizing on it. How do we do that? Well, we need to have some education in place, and then we need to have businesses, not shit coins and meme coins. That they're tired of that. They've been burned on that stuff. They don't want that. They want real businesses with shares to buy into, and they can be tokenized shares like we talked about. That's, I think, the most amazing concept: legitimate tokenized shares with startup businesses that have C corps, S corps out of Delaware with shares to buy in. So those are huge. Some of the other takeaways, speakers. I did see Eric Trump. He was there. He talked mostly about, there's two events with him. There was the main stage, and then there was the other side stage. And I'd say the main takeaway from what he talked about was his family was completely shut down and debanked. I mean, he came out boldly and said, let's see, it was Capital One. They had some 200 bank accounts all closed. Was it Chase? Another couple major banks, B of A, I mean, a couple other major banks completely shut them down and debanked them. So for those who are kind of thinking, well, these guys are all part of the problem, they're part of the banking cartel. No. They had all their bank accounts closed, every single one of them. They were not allowed to do business. That was Donald Trump, Eric Trump, the whole Trump family empire. I mean, all those people. They couldn't do any business. Why? Politically motivated. Just completely destroyed them. So that's why he got into BTC, and he's promoting BTC, and he's doing the World WF Alliance, which is a stable coin, and he's extremely bullish, and he talked all about it. On what he believes is the future of finance. I mean, where he's at in his journey. I don't think he understands, the whole Bitcoin protocol yet, but he'll get there. He'll get there eventually. I mean, right now he's at an early stage of, like, he was desperate. They were shutting their bank accounts down. He had no other way to operate. He had to migrate. So now he's doing a lot of mining as mining companies, and they're doing great. The stable coin they're doing is going to be really big. It's World, I think it's WF1 stable coin. I did go into another private, like a VIP area with them, and then I got really close. I got a couple pictures, and then Secret Service mobbed me in there. I didn't do anything weird, but I guess I could have been, maybe the press wasn't supposed to be in there, and I was in there, and I had a pass, but I had a press pass too, so I don't know why, but I didn't get kicked out. I mean, as soon as he got done speaking, they surrounded me and questioned me, and I said, well, I'll be happy to identify myself as long as you guys don't agree not to use it against me. So I kind of went back to a back and forth. I didn't want to identify myself until they agreed they weren't going to use it against me, and then they did. That's Sixth Amendment, and then they said, okay, we won't use it against me. So I ID'd, and they did whatever they did, and it was fine. But I thought that was strange. I couldn't quite figure out why that happened. To be honest, I don't know why, but I was the only one that happened to at that thing. And we're doing that to anybody else. So that was kind of cool. We did go to a bunch of dinners, and I mean, it was really Some of the, I say the big takeaway though is just this movie is just going to be huge. It's going to be massive. Well, one of the things I wanted to lead with as well before we open up is going to an event like this is kind of like as opposed to everybody going and talking about Bitcoin SV, saying buy Bitcoin SV, buy, read about Craig Wright. No, 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 no. I mean, because there's a lot of bad information out there from people on the internet. If you're a brand new person and you search that, you probably are going to get a lot of fake information. You are going to. And then you're going to talk to somebody in BTC Core, and they're going to tell you that it's fraud or fake or Craig lost that Copa case. So that's not really the best. I don't think that's the best lead in to a brand new person at a conference, as opposed to saying, look at this giant Hollywood blockbuster movie that's going to come out about the story about killing off the creator of Bitcoin, the Killing Satoshi, and it's got Casey Affleck is paying Satoshi. You got Doug Liman, the guy who did Born Identity and Born Supremacy series. He's directing it. Edge of Tomorrow, Tom Cruise, he did those. And then you've got the guy who did Social Network, Ryan Kavanaugh. He's the one who's producing it. And then you've got the titan of blockchain. I mean, he's a major celebrity in his own right, Calvin Ayre. I mean, he's being played by one of the most favorite, according to the Gen Z people I've talked to. Pete Davidson is like one of the most favorite actors. They love this guy, and he's playing Calvin Ayre. So this is all coming out now, and that's people got really excited about that. Wow, a Bitcoin movie? Yeah, not only just a Bitcoin movie, it's a Satoshi. It's about the story of Bitcoin and the creation and the court cases and the killing off of the creator. It's a spy thriller, and so wow, that's really exciting. And so now people were all buzzed on that and wanting to be a part of it. When is it coming out? What's it going to do? How can they? What should they buy? How can they? How can they invest? What do they want to do? I mean, there's just, all this talk starts to get going. Down the path. It's just the best lead in I've ever seen on a conversation about, hey, look at this, because everybody is interested. Everybody loves to be entertained, and they realize that there's going to be a massive wave. And that's why I titled this space. So, Casey, over to you. How you doing? Good morning.
I'm doing great. I definitely agree with you there that it is the best icebreaker as far as leading into a deeper story most people have absolutely no knowledge of. So, yeah, that was my experience, just bringing up the Finding Satoshi documentary and then, letting people know that there was a alternative view coming out. So, that was the best conversation. And almost every single person that we got to communicate about that was, like you said, just extremely intrigued and followed and connected with all their socials and just said they were going to stay tuned to check it out.
Yeah, I mean, and Casey really does a good job at, like, going right in and telling and basically showing them the story, and following up with that. Look, here's what happened. Once the ice is broken and there's like trust was built, then okay, look here. What's this really about? Tell me more. And then you do the best. Casey really does the best job at really kind of going deep on that, right into it. And how would you explain that to somebody, Casey, once you met them?
Well, I mean, my opening line was pretty much just, bringing up the Finding Satoshi documentary. And a lot of people in this space have seen that trailer already. So just letting them know that there was another documentary coming out, that the opening scene of it was going to be, Satoshi slitting his neck and, trying to commit suicide because he was just so upset and distraught with what was happening with Silk Road and his creation. And then his wife saving him and going into the entire story of the block size wars. And that was enough to hook him and be like, oh my gosh. And then, discussing the key actors and who the roles that they're playing brings in the conversation of Calvin and Craig. And nobody poo-pooed it and freaked out and was like, oh my God, Craig. There was quite a few people that we did talk to that made it very clear that, they like us. They loved connecting with us, but they just are diehard Craig haters. So that's their prerogative. But, to me, they just haven't spent enough time listening to his actual message of the technology, and they're being blocked by whatever um, is blocking, them from going deeper about learning about Bitcoin and how it actually is supposed to, scale and serve the world. So that's on them. That's their journey. But still, we did not get, dismissed or kicked out or any of the things that I thought potentially could happen going to a BTC conference. So I was pleasantly surprised in that arena.
Yeah, really surprising. And people were once we really sat down, and like Rice, for example, he was a good one. Like that was very much a hard no on talking anything about BSV, for example. And after we talked, I really like sat down with and got to know him better. It was all changed. He's like, well, you know, he says, I may hate Craig Wright, but that doesn't matter. I really, like you guys, and this is something, it just completely changed having that personal connection with people. I'm
Well,
like,
and I met Chris Rice and Ken Bozak in 2017 at the Freedom Fest with Jeff Berwick when I went there to Vegas. And we had such an amazing time when I was like a BTC person. And, they all swooped me up and took me around. And I got to watch Ken in action doing his thing. And it was just so fun.